This is the VOKING WM210 wireless video recording microphone. It's UHF. So I was sent this to review for free. If you wanted to purchase it, it would cost you $160. So in the box, we have an instruction manual and warranty card, and we have instructions in English in the second half of this manual. There's a foam carrying case here. We have the wireless transmitter, and it has a battery pack here that's going to require 2 AA batteries. You have a little pinch to release there. The mechanism feels a little bit clunky. It fits, it goes in, but it's a little clunky. Here is the receiver. Has a similar AA mechanism for the battery compartment. It has out and earphones jack and 2 places for the antennas. You have an accessory box, and in the accessory we have a TRS to TRS adapter, so that's a 3 to 3 adapter. So in this bag we have the microphone itself, which will plug into this guy, and a 3-pin mic adapter. We also have this here, which is kind of a cold shoe mount that will hook to the top of a camera, and it has the ability to connect up to these spring clips here. If you push them in far enough, it will latch onto the spring clips, so you can mount this to the top of a camera. Now it does have some plastic threads in there. It looks like 3/8 threads in there, so potentially you could mount that to a 3/8 thread mounting point as well. I'm actually surprised they do 3/8 instead of 1/4 inch, because this is all pretty lightweight material. So this little spinny thing that's on the end of the microphone and on one end of this cable will sometimes thread into the threads on the end of this jack. The guys over here threaded in really well. This guy seems to be a little bit farther in, and so I was having a little difficulty getting it to start the threads. I got it one time. There, I got it latched. So that will latch it in and kind of keep it from pulling out. So we're going to hit the power button. This guy here defaults to channel 1, frequency 566125. This one here also has channel 1 on it. Now, there's a little indicator here, and every time I talk it jumps up to the top. When I stop talking, it goes down. So that indicator will tell you if you're getting some noise. On the side of the microphone there is a low pass cutoff for noise. You can flip that to on, and it basically has a little icon that pops up that says low cut, and so that indicates that you are cutting the low pass noise. On the receiver there's a little indicator at the top. When you turn on the transmitter, this guy lights up and says, hey, I have an antenna on B. This guy is the B transmitter. And then if you had an A transmitter, some kits have 2 transmitters, you could have both of those on there. So by holding the set key, you can adjust the volume for the headphones. You can adjust the power level or volume on the output cable, and you can adjust the channels. So on the receiver, there's a side switch here that is ST for single channel or mix, which is mixed of the channels. So if you have a single transmitter, you probably want to use mix so that the audio from the one transmitter goes into both the left and right channels. Alternatively, you can put it on single channel, so this guy is all in one channel and you could put some other audio in a different channel. In the same way, if you had a kit with two transmitters, you could potentially have them one for the left channel, one for the right channel if you do an ST, or if you go to mix, they would be both mixed into both channels. Now, there is no display on the LCD to show you the status, so you just have to look at the switch and see which way the switch is pushed. So each of these devices does have a micro USB port on the side, and they say that if you plug that into a USB power bank, you can operate them off of 5 volts, but you have to remove the batteries first. So there is the option to power them off of a USB port if your camera has a USB port on it. So if you have a transmitter on, a single transmitter, and you're in mix mode, you'll get two indicators that basically mirror each other. Now if you take this to single channel mode, I only have one transmitter, and so only the B channel is moving up and down here. So you can kind of tell if you're in single channel or mix based on looking at your channel output displays. Now if you have two different transmitters, you would be getting indicators from both of them. They might not be going in sync depending on how close together they are, but that's a hint of if you're in mixed or single mode. So here I went into mixed mode and both of them are going up and down at the same time. So just handling the devices, my initial impression is that it's a little bit cheap for the price point. Just, you know, the kind of fit and finish, the quality of the plastic, how the switches feel, the buttons feel, the kind of these little twisty screw arm locks that, you know, this one here is very tricky to get in place and get the screw to start. The antennas here are, you know, the very inexpensive kind of antennas you'd find on a Wi-Fi router, and not one of the super expensive Wi-Fi routers. The all plastic hot shoe attachment or cold shoe attachment here. Just everything about it feels a little inexpensive and feels like the price point's a little high for that. But I haven't tested the audio, so let's go test the audio and see how that works, because that's really what you care about here. To get video and audio from this microphone, I have it plugged into my Sony a6300 camera. It's going in just the auxiliary mic port. I have it clipped on top of the cold shoe there. Now this guy is hanging out the back of the camera a little bit. It might make it a little difficult to use the eyepiece, but other than that, if you tuck this wire out of the way, it really doesn't interfere with using the camera otherwise. Now I considered mounting this guy sideways to try to make it not stick out the back as much, but this guy here has a definite arrow and I could not get it to fit sideways. So it'll go in this way and it will go in that way, but it will not go in sideways. And that's basically with this arrow having to do with the orientation that it hooks onto the little wired belt area here. Okay, we're doing an indoor test now. Alright, I'm standing about 50 feet away from the camera with a zoom lens. I'm in a hallway, so if you hear a little bit of echoing acoustics, it might be because I'm between two walls in a hallway. I've just turned on the low-pass filter. You really shouldn't need a low-pass filter indoor, quiet environment like this, but just in case it sounds different, I've turned it on so you can listen to me. Okay, I have turned off the low-pass filter. Now I'm going to walk back towards the camera, and you'll probably pick up some swishing noises from the clothes moving and the wire moving around and things like that. So that concludes the indoor test. All right, I'm about 20 feet away through double pane e-glass window. I'm going to turn on the low pass filter. So there I just turned on the low pass filter. I don't know if you can hear any difference there. There's a very slight wind out here, not much at all. I'm going to turn off the low pass filter and I'm going to just walk to the dock, get a range on this guy. All right, I'm walking to the dock. Hopefully the audio will go the entire way. I'm going past the lime tree. Still walking, still talking. Hopefully we'll stay the entire trip, and we're passing the lime tree, which you can probably see in the video. So there's a light breeze out here, maybe 3 an hour is all. We're heading out to the end of the dock. Okay, here I am at the end of the dock. The antenna has direct line of sight to the camera. I'm going to turn on the low pass filter. So there is the low pass filter. I don't know if you can hear any difference or not with the low pass filter. I just turned it off. All right, I'm going to walk back to the window, and this time I'll be facing the camera as I'm walking, and so we'll see if that affects anything. Passing the pine tree. Passing the lime tree. All right, and I'm about 20 feet away. There is an airplane flying overhead. I'm going to turn on the low pass filter again, just in case that will hear something with the airplane or not hear something with the airplane. Then I'm going to turn off the low pass filter. I took the footage from my camera, put it on my computer, listened to it with headphones, and indoor quality was pretty good. Outdoor quality was okay, especially because I was shooting through an e-glass window. This guy ran into some range difficulties. That e-glass window, I found, blocks radio waves pretty effectively, surprisingly so. So at the end, where I was near the end of the dock, it started to get a little fuzzy and not super great. So if you're using this at medium range or indoors, shouldn't be an issue. If you're trying to go super long range, make sure you have direct line of sight. You're not going through any e-glass windows. All in all, I think the quality is pretty similar to some other units that cost about the third of the price here. So I really I haven't seen anything that makes me think these guys are worth the premium that they're currently listed at. So they work, they're okay, but I don't really recommend them at this price point.